Welcome back to the 5th episode of the 97% Optimised podcast. Today we're joined by Flurh,
Yo, what's up?
Slayer,
Yo.
TTS,
Hi.
Tony UK,
Yo.
myself, Tom, and we are missing Bagsy today, unfortunately. But today's topic is about patching shit on Moon. Yeah, there you go.
Alright, TTS, you can explain.
Okay. Basically, there's this one strat on Moon that existed on BO3, and some people figured out how to put it on BO1. But one of the bigger issues is that the rift spawns in Tunnel 11 will inevitably glitch out, and people want to potentially create or propose the idea of putting a patch on Moon that fixes the said ground spawns, so a strategy like this can exist. Because this strat is faster than spawn and Semtex combo, meaning you could push Moon quite a bit if this strat was allowed.
Okay. So, what do you guys think about this patch?
I don't think that the modification of code should be allowed, because that starts getting into a real taboo area of BO1 high rounding and what can we change, what can't we change, the distribution of patches that are really fucked and do things that give players a competitive advantage, like better RNG or this weapon does more damage or something like that.
Alright, here's my main problem with the patch, right? So you have to modify the game code, right? And here's the problem. People that were Zombies has always been the same. We've always been playing the same game.
Yep.
And now we're changing it. We're doing a patch to change the thing. So, I mean, let's look at the patch. You know, what does it add? I mean, it adds a new strat to the map, right? So it can get pushed. That's like the advantage of the patch, right?
That's the
But
main
also,
reason that you could argue the existence of this patch is you could push Moon if it's allowed.
But what I don't understand is, because you know you can glitch the spawn, why are people opposed to the idea, or why have not people thought of the idea of just, why don't you just allow the glitch spawn?
Yeah, I agree.
That's an alternative to just modifying the game code. You could just get people to agree on not patching the spawn, sorry, allowing the glitch. So there's already an alternative to the advantage of the patch. That's why I'm just like, this patch is pretty pointless. But then let's look at the disadvantages. So the disadvantages is that people that were playing before this patch get you know, in, let's say in the new verse that this patch gets allowed, people that were already playing before were just at a disadvantage because they didn't have the resource to play with this patch. So basically anything before this patch is basically irrelevant. Like, it doesn't matter at all.
And I mean,
whereas on other maps, on Zombies, it's always been pushed. You know, it's like trade strat was always possible from the beginning, but this strat on Moon was never possible from the beginning. So people that played before, basically irrelevant. So that's one huge disadvantage. And another disadvantage is that, okay, so you're fixing this one glitch, right? But there's other glitches on other maps that are even smaller than this, right? That wouldn't even affect the map as much as this spawn, that are not being thought about. So let's say the G spawn, you know, you can remove G spawn from the game on Shangri-La, like when you shoot the babies. That would be like such a good quality of life change. You know, there's other glitches, let's say on Doris, zombies getting stuck under the map. You know, that's completely out of your control. Zombies getting stuck under the map, and you can use like 30 minutes to it. Like, I've had zombies stuck under the map for 20 minutes before. So it's like, why are you making a patch to fix this one issue when there's so many other issues that are even smaller than this that are not getting patched? And my proposition is, you either create an alternative BL1 that, let's say,
fixes
agree to
lots
play
of
on,
things.
that fixes not just these small things, but like huge things. I mean, BL1 is not at this point yet, but there's like huge issues that could become an issue later on. Let's say, people play. Let's say the records become way more optimized. People can get, people can get like 240 Kino. Like there's multiple people that are capable of getting 240 Kino. It now
Right.
becomes who gets the better instas RNG. And someone like me on Doris, I've restarted like basically after like November last year. I was just restarting for instas RNG. That's all I was doing, just restarting for good instas RNG to get where I want to. And on Doris, this is really huge too, because there's a box area that you have to play towards. So if you get less instas missed, you can also hit the box for longer because you're not accumulating box hits on regular rounds, because you're not playing regular rounds, you're playing more insta rounds. So instas become a huge issue. So fixing shit like instas would be, it would be pretty big. So, an alternative BR1, like if you're gonna fix, this like spawn thing, I'll just rather have an alternative BR1 that people are like, okay, this is not regular BR1, this is not classic BR1, this is an alternative BR1 where everything is fixed, but the records are not the same, like the old records, that's classic BR1, and this is an alternative BR1. People could just create an alternative BR1 where it fixes all this nonsense and make it an alternative BR1.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to say that I don't excuse, because Phoenix has been saying like all the people talking shit. Like I don't excuse people like talking shit on other people. Like I definitely think that people were just being dicks to Phoenix back in the day. I wasn't one of them. And I don't think those are the people who are like those people, and the people who are thinking about this patch are like completely separate people, because like the only people who had been thinking about it were like the people that were hovering around my Discord and had been like hearing about this strat as it was kind of being worked on. This isn't like a thing known across like half the community already. This is like the early stages. This is like the introduction to this idea, and definitely I've already seen a fair amount of people shutting down this idea with the strict value of you can't change the game code, which I 100% agree with.
Yeah, I agree with that too. So I mean, I think what I said, if you're gonna do one thing in the game, just make an alternative BL1 where it fixes, all the other issues on BL1, and play the alternative BL1, because classic BL1, like if you're changing classic BL1 and allowing these, you're
taking away from what makes BL1 vanilla. Or like classic.
It's like BL1, it's been the same. You could always do the shit that we're doing now back then, but now when you add this patch, it's a completely different game. And when it's a completely different game, I don't know. I just can't agree with that.
Would it not be more refreshing? Like maybe having like.
Pardon, what do you say?
Like, is there not like a way? Like maybe you could have different leaderboards for like.
That's what I was.
I mean, you could do like leaderboards for vanilla BL1 and a leaderboards for like
a modified BL1,
like reimagined BL1, for example.
Yeah.
But it would like make.
Oh, do you mean for that specific glitch, right?
Like for example, wasn't there a separate leaderboard for glitching the Astro? And like,
no, it was trapping the Astro.
Yeah,
so it was basically normal world record.
Yeah, so you can either trap the Astro or not trap the Astro. Like there was a different leaderboard at one point. I'm not sure.
So you're proposing the idea of just creating this patch for an alternative leaderboard, so it doesn't interact with the old BL1 records.
One stone, though. If you have a problem with the patch, then you separate leaderboard. People will have their own opinion, and most likely people will, obviously say the vanilla record is the legitimate record, because it is. And like the other problem you're faced with if this patch is advocated for, people are going to change everything on different maps. They're going to see, oh, this is so game changing. It really is.
Yeah.
Like this is such a game changing patch, and they're just going to be like, oh, we can change things on other maps. Like Shang, like Sheena.
That's why I said make an alternative BL1.
Yeah, like
fixes everything and make it a different leaderboard.
That is really the only way about it, because you can't possibly accept this but trash talk people for other things, Because this is really game changing and breaking. To be
Yeah,
honest.
I don't think you should be able to modify the config just to play a strat that you shouldn't be able to play without changing it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's the
So,
whole principle of it. You're
check
directly
mode.
changing the game.
but there's like reducted that do the same thing, but that's another thing because the game is just broken. It's not like BO1, you can play it, there's no problem. So
Someone
yeah.
want to move Phoenix up, please?
Oh yeah, I will.
Oh shit.
Quack.
Hello.
Phoenix.
Phenix.
Yo, what's up?
So do you want to add anything to the current conversation?
So basically, as you guys probably know, I'm like probably the guy in the community with the most hours on Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Sure.
So basically, I've been shit talked on what game I played back in the days. That 189 game I played like with glitched roof spawns.
Yeah, I remember.
And no, basically, like people just wanna like I mean, the main argument was just, hey, just avoid being in that zone and just like, why would you even play in that zone or just don't shoot the spawn and everything.
Right. Yeah,
So
I remember.
basically, like this like kind of patch, if you wanna add it, would be just like allowing like to go in that zone. So the argument that people were like trying to use against me back in the days would be like just invalid right now. Also, if you allow like one spawn, it means that you will also like consider legitimate game back in the days. Which like I mean, like if back in the days I knew that one spawn would be allowed, like I wouldn't even like think about playing that. I mean, this next game I played after that 208 game and that 213 game. And that's basically the same thing for InstaStrat, like.
And this was kind of the idea with bringing up this proposal before anybody actually did it, was that we could get the rules in place and get the idea of what the community likes or doesn't like about it before something like that happens, like before the game actually happens, like get this ruling idea in place so that people know what they can or can't do. Like back then,
So
it's like
I'm just gonna like like just answer to the the three outcomes that could happen. That we wrote in the past bin. So I'm not gonna talk about the first one, which is not allowing anything, which basically wouldn't change anything.
right.
The second one was allowing one spawn. Is that right?
Yeah.
Alright, so if you're allowing one spawn, then it means that you're allowing canceling spawn.
You're right.
So
Does that affect any other map?
yeah,
Call of the Dead.
Call of the Dead.
affects Call of the Dead, and you're basically are able to run a 2-window strat in co-op.
Oh.
So yeah.
I mean, the discussion about the rift spawners definitely was not very open back in the day. It was definitely very just, no, don't do it, stay away from it. And I definitely think there was a lot of ignorance.
All right, so
that came in
I'm
with
just
the,
I'm just gonna
ruling of
open
that.
something else then. Like if back in the days glitching the astronaut wasn't allowed, then why it wouldn't be allowed right now?
Right. I don't
Like
think
basically,
there should be
so,
a new
so if you
discussion to
change one rule, then it means
you changed like 3 more.
Yeah, you're changing
Yeah.
like you're opening the door to every single other changes that people would like to make in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
So you touched on the three outcomes. So you said one of them would be allowing the one spawn. Would the other two just be allowing the patch, and then the other one would just be keep it as it is now? Are those the
Oh
three
yeah,
outcomes?
I forgot the third one. So the third one would be allowing patches. If you're allowing like changing one file, then you're allowing changing every single file in the game. Then you basically have no idea if anyone is actually modding the game.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you guys didn't know, like, there's a like very quick way to know if someone is
Perk
modding.
animation.
Yeah. So if like let's say you want to patch something in the game, I don't know, maybe let's say the the zombies who just don't come down fast enough in the Sheng AK room.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
So let's say you want to change that because that's I mean the common zombie patch or some shit. There's like probably a file which is like spawner or some shit and you want to change it, then we have no idea if you ever changed anything else.
Right.
And yeah, as I said, and if you're allowing like a little change within the game, then you're allowing literally everything.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. So I feel like this conversation segues to another discussion where it's like, should we consider changing some rules if there's like a demand for it? So let's say the moon one window. Like should a discussion be open to allow the one window thing at the moon location? I like the BO3 strat. Should that spawn be allowed to glitch? Should the discussion for that, be open? Like, should the rules be allowed to change? Do you think we should consider changing the rules or just keep it as it is?
Just like I don't even see why it's even a thing, because like I knew this strat would exist like since a long of time, but like I never thought like people were actually going to go back on their like shit talking and everything.
Yeah.
Just to like like they can play faster, so they just like changing the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, like basically like most of people who like would like this to be a thing would be people who just can play faster.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest arguments going for it, is it pushes Moon farther. That's about it. Otherwise, to make it happen, we have to do rule change on rule change and ask if patches are allowed and stuff like that. And a question I have then for you, Phenix, is because earlier you were talking about how if you change one rule, you have to change 3 more. Are you happy with the current rulings of Moon as it stands right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, anyways, like if you wanna play optimized on Moon, like there's no rule that you wanna change except like maybe this one, which is either a glitch that was not allowed for years and years, or you would change a file which just isn't allowed.
Oh yeah. Also, I wanted to talk about the zombies health bars. So I saw a tweet on your Twitter where it was the zombies health bar, and hold on, let me pull it up right now. I can actually find it. But the tweet was saying you said that like high round players would be opposed to it, but you were thinking about you made like a zombies health bar.
Yeah, I already made it, but like since I've seen like maybe 1 or 2 people already like saying it wouldn't be legit for actually good reasons, and I can see why.
So what's your opinion?
I'm just not gonna release it.
What's your personal opinions on having like a visual health bar in the game?
There was a lot of bullshit, but
I mean, it helps explain bullshit, but I think it also helps prevent bullshit and lower like the skill roof.
Yeah.
Like, are you modifying the game to get this health bar working?
No.
He's just reading game values like reset.
But could you like show?
It's not gonna like show up on screen. It's gonna be like a separate window that just displays your health.
Okay. So I was thinking about this earlier. So we've already got programs that already track shit. So like you got the reset. You can get programs that track reset. You can get programs that even like just track your dog rounds and track your like
right,
it will
like
read
with
the game, track your box hits, track your dogs. what this health bar is doing, right, is that it's just tracking what's already in the game, right?
Right.
So it's like people previously considered, tracking dog rounds, tracking box hits,
That's
legitimate majority of the community. So
that's
now,
actually different because I
Oh.
tried it, and as you guys probably know, we like most of downs on Sheng are because you don't really know what your current health is,
Right.
and then you just like take a random hit out of nowhere and just die when you
Mhm.
weren't even red screened. Yeah, I could see why like people could be opposed to it, because basically that's just being like, I mean, knowing about the fact that you're gonna die, and you will just like change the way you will play and just spam the BB gun instead of just thinking you're fine.
yeah.
That takes out the
But-
skill aspects.
But
of it.
here's the thing, right? Because I personally don't think it should be allowed, but I'm creating like an argument for allowing the health bar. It's like you can kind of always know, like if you're properly tracking how much you're getting hit, and like when you're regenning, you can always know this, but it's like very unlikely you'll know. Like sometimes you'll track it wrong, but let's say you actually know what your health. Let's say you're actually properly tracking this. It's like you always are. I think like the argument for allowing this is that you're always able to know how much health you have if
Actually,
you're properly analyzing your gameplay, right?
actually,
Right.
you couldn't know. Like, I mean,
I
let's
mean,
say
you can have an
the
idea.
best example of that is when you red screen, wait a little bit, and then you get hit, like you get a random hit out of nowhere, and you red screen again. Do you even know why this thing happened?
Yeah. Why does that even happen? Actually, can you explain that?
Actually, the way like regen works is
Mhm.
let's say you have 250 HP.
Right.
So that's jug, right?
Just the health
That's
with
jug.
jug.
Yeah, that's with jug. Then you take 4 hits. You have 10 HP then.
Mhm.
So whenever you come back to full health, it's not instantly.
No.
There's like
You
a
heal
like
up slowly over time.
not even. No, it's you actually stay at like 10 HP for like maybe I don't know if it's like 5 seconds or some shit, but anyways.
Right.
Then you will go back not straight to 250 HP. You will actually like it will actually regen
Gradually to
Yeah.
gradual regen. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gradually, but constantly.
So it's actually strange because like let's say you take another hit when you are like in the middle of the region at like let's say 200 HP. Well, you will still be able to take like some more hits and keep being red screen, and you wouldn't know what happens, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
basically,
yeah, that's
basically
fair
it's actually a bug. I think that
Like how the
it's
red
in Gear
screen
1,
plays.
because yeah, that's another example. If you allow patches, then you might allow like properly like patch of the health in zombies anyways. So yeah, like this can help.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
not
okay,
not
I
doing
see
like
that now.
random shit before you're like completely sure you came back at like 250 HP. But
Okay.
if you let's say if you're not red screen, you will instantly regen back to the maximum health you were at. So yeah, it's
I think.
a bit shady.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, it changes how you play before a death, or let's say, like, when you're in the regen stage and you get hit, let's say, like, you're playing, like, Semtex, you get hit a bunch of times, you'll know, like, whether you're able to do certain things or not in a situation, depending on your health. And you wouldn't normally know this. I mean, you can make a generalization, but you wouldn't know specifically, and if you know specifically, it does change how you play. Like, let's say you'll probably
can-
most likely make the wrong
I can
assumption.
I can tell it does change because I already like
Mhm.
played some games
Yes.
on Sheng and it did.
Alright, yeah.
Same for me. So yeah.
So what I like about
But
this discussion,
like the main like the main thing about this life bar widget was actually to kind of understand 100% how the traps damage and everything works.
Mm-hmm.
Because actually people can tell you oh, you're modding because you took 3 hits and I mean
yeah, after the trap.
you went in the trap, then took 3 hits and you didn't die. And that's
Yeah.
one of the thing I asked myself in my third game, because at some point I took 3 hits after going in the trap. I was like, what the fuck, how am I not
I've
dead?
taken a lot of hits after
But
jumping through traps.
actually yeah, the way traps are working, I mean the damages are a bit strange. I think it's just Treyarch being lazy on you're supposed to die if you're going in a trap without jug, and you're not if you have jug.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just if you have less than 100 HP and take 1 hit, then you're basically just dead. So that's why you can just take 2
You can
hits.
jump through and get hit a bunch versus get hit a bunch and then jump through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can take 3 hits after, but you can't take 3 hits before. Then it's kind of broken. It doesn't really make sense.
But
So
I mean,
basically, yeah, each trap hit is 16 damage.
This stuff about the health bar stuff, I like learning that we are getting an understanding about how the damage in the game works and what enemies do this much damage and stuff like that. It kind of helps you think about and be able to explain deaths in the game and how much damage you're taking and how the hell did I survive that. But I think having a constant visual representation of that is getting to be a little much. I'm 100% for studying the game code and understanding how each little bitty aspect of the game works, but I'm not for making it easy by adding stuff like a visual health bar. A reset bar is 50-50 because we could just calculate reset anyway based on what we know about stuff in practice games.
Yeah,
anyways, at some point all of their reset times become pretty much
the same, plus or minus 10 minutes max.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, the health bar is a little more intrusive as it gives you a little more information than a reset bar.
You said with the reset bar it would make the game easier, right? But I want to create I don't think the reset bar should be legit, but an argument for the reset bar is that, let's say you're playing Shang, a lot of the times you have to really make general assumptions on what your health is, especially when you're getting hit by zombies, you're running through napalm. You have to make a generalization, and with this health bar, right, the people are saying that, oh, if you have this health bar, you can know what to do in a situation. And I think that's actually a good thing. An advantage of this health bar is that it kind of makes it more skillful because you're actually able to adapt to a situation correctly knowing your health. Whereas you have to make such a vague generalization of what your health is, and sometimes you just cannot know, especially let's say you get hit a bunch of times, you're running to the door and then you don't regen fully and a napalm starts hitting, a napalm spawns under your feet and starts hitting you. You could assume you've regened, but there's no way of knowing that if you actually regened and then you get red screen, from the fucking napalm and die. It's so fucking bullshit that there's no way you would know. So there's no skill. It's basically just complete, it's a guessing game, right? But when you have this health bar, you know what to do. You can actually adapt. You can actually use your skill to adapt to a situation because you know your health. So that's an advantage of the health bar. Whereas if you don't have a health bar, you have to guess. So it's not even skill at that point, because it can be you could be right at the edge of regening your health, but you wouldn't know if you fully regened or not, and you have to make an assumption of what to do, and it's complete random too, especially when napalms are spawning under your feet and you don't know if you fully regened or not. It's complete random. But if you have the health bar, you kind of can use your skill to adapt to a situation. So that's an argument for the health bar.
So yeah, basically the link that Demons sent is probably your health being between 50 and 60, and you're just dying.
Not low enough for a red screen, but high enough to be still a one to kill.
Because 20% of your total life is 50 and the zombie hit is 60, so yeah, you probably took a damage, then took some dog's hit or some shit, and then you can do anything about it.
So,
mean,
it's
what
something
specific
itself, so-
health does your red screen at? Like-
It's 20% of your total health. So if you have like, if you don't have jug, it's 20, then 20.
Mhm.
If you have jug, then it's 50.
50. All right.
And zombies do 60 damage, right?
Yeah, dogs
Yeah.
40.
So he got hit by the Sallies a couple times.
Yeah,
to
and
get low enough
explosives
and then
are
got hit.
75.
Yeah,
At any range?
sell themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
this is
only
stuff that's
the
good
only
to learn.
explosion, I mean the only variation between like damages are falling damages, and the napalm explosion depending on
How close you are?
your close or if you're close or far away from him.
Okay.
But the damages when the napalm is spawning under you,
Mhm.
the fire damages, they're
Mhm.
actually different than the ones you're taking when
After he explodes.
yeah, after
No,
it
after-
explodes.
All right.
Like each hit when you're spawning in is like 3 only,
Mhm.
and then it's 12.
Oh, 12. Like when he's fully out of the ground, or do you mean when he's exploded and the fire's
Yeah,
left over?
no, when he blew up.
Oh, okay. All right. I got
Okay.
you.
I have a counter argument to what you said about like the benefits of having like the health
Alright.
bar on Shang or whatever. So
Alright.
you say it's good because it helps you know what your health is, but why couldn't you just have a rough idea by just knowing these damage values and stuff? Like
Um,
say for example, like you take all this damage, you get a rough idea that you're at about this health, and now you can just like keep an eye on your timer to watch the time go by, and then you can go, all right, now I'm regenning, this is good. If you take a couple more hits, you can go, all right, I think I'm about
There's
here,
so
kind
many
of thing.
different scenarios.
But there's so many situations. Like let's say
Like when
you
the
get
napalm
hit.
spawns.
No. When you get hit, and then a napalm spawns under your feet, and you're at the edge. You're like you're at the edge of like the health regenning, like start to regenning. But then a napalm spawns under your feet and actually stops the health from regenning. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It starts hitting you. Right? There's no way of knowing if you're
Right.
regenning or not. If you've regened your health fully or not.
Also, like let's say sometimes you can just spam the baby gun because of panic and everything, and
Mhm.
whenever you're spamming one of the weapons, it's like failing. Like it's not even like 100% failing. It's like half
Yeah, and
failing.
it kills like 2 zombies in front of you, and then it doesn't kill
and
like
then,
the rest.
and then,
Yeah.
you can just like pass by and like just walk on some zombies and get hit, and you don't know if it's like the normal zombies or the baby zombies,
Yeah.
and you just
Oh,
like
that's a really annoying thing because there's no way of knowing that either. So it makes a complete RNG if the zombie or the actual baby hit you. Whereas if you had a health bar, you could actually know if the baby or the zombie hit you.
Mhm.
Also, I'm just gonna go back a little on the reset bar or reset tracker, whatever it is.
Yep.
Mhm.
When you say it's making the game easier, I guess it wasn't the words you were like thinking about making the game easier. I think it's more like changing your decisions depending on I don't know.
When you're gonna reset?
If you like, no, if you're gonna trade or not, depending if it's of the round, I don't know. I can tell that it actually changed something in my Ascension game, because like people were like, "Oh, are you gonna force the insta round or some shit?" I was like, like, am I like, what happens if I get a monkey round? Like, yeah, sure, I will be able to force the insta round, and if I had like maybe 30 minutes more of reset time, then I would be able to like get to 32 no matter what. But no, I couldn't get it because I was like missing these extra 30 minutes or some shit. I would have I would need like perfect trades, and that actually
That's
changed
huge.
that actually changed my my mindset about like the end game. And yeah, like thanks RNG, I got like four rounders in the end of the game.
Mhm.
And yeah, it does change a lot of things because like people were like, it's not even forcing insta rounds. Like what the fuck? Yeah, because you know it doesn't even like because people don't even realize that if you force like maybe you get a 5 rounder, then you force insta kill round, then you get a 6 rounder. Like that's a huge amount of time without getting monkeys. And if you can get like one more monkey run right before you end the game, then it does change everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So that actually changed the the end game of my Ascension game. So like, is that making the game easier? Well, not, but it does change the the decisions you're gonna make.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
a
also-
huge.
And that's pretty much the exact same thing with the health bar.
That's also, if you remember what I said, is that we could just calculate reset
Yeah,
anyway.
that's
So if you just have that number in the back of your mind as like a general like idea of that's when you're gonna reset, then you could make those plays with or without having the reset tracker tracking your specific game.
It depends. It depends actually. Like if you want to make sure you will go like through the round because of like if you like are you gonna force like an insta round if you can get like 2 after that, and it will like be a benefit in the end game if like it's like more or less 10 minutes, then it's gonna change something. Like
Yeah.
2
Yeah,
insta
I
round
mean-
and ascension is like maybe 1 normal round, 1.2 normal round. So it's gonna change it's gonna change something. Like maybe 1 or 2 rounds, but it's still a huge amount of time in the 230s. So
I mean, yeah, I mean, having it on your game would give you a more like definite answer of what I can or can't do in my game.
So, what do you think? Because now that you said that, it's kind of like the health bar and the reset tracker are kind of. I mean, obviously, the health bar has way more utility than a reset tracker, but a reset tracker can also change the outcome of a game to a large margin. It could be like it could have been the difference between a 231, 232, right? Same with the health
no,
bar.
it actually could have been 230 instead of 232.
So yeah, he basically elevated his round. Well, I'm not saying it's exclusively to the reset tracker, but the reset
No.
tracker aided him into knowing, changing his record by 2 rounds. Same with the health bar, right? Like let's say, let's just use like a random scenario. Like let's say somebody's on like 190.
I'm just gonna add something.
Oh yeah.
So basically Slayer is writing to me right now,
Mhm.
and he said that if he knew exactly the time if he knew what decision to make at the end of his Kino game, then maybe he would have done like chicken only for like maybe the last 3 rounds and then get maybe 1 round more because he wasn't that far off the end of 235.
Right.
Yeah, it was like an
And you had the
But I
reset
also-
tracker, right, Slow?
Yeah,
It-
I only
it didn't
opened it
open-
at 235.
Yeah.
Alright.
So yeah.
So reset
Okay.
trackers are, pretty advantageous, and same with the
And
health bar, right?
Basically the code behind that is almost the same. It's just
It's
the
just reading a value
Just
and
read,
displaying
yeah,
it.
it's just like the static address stored in the game that you just like gonna read. And basically like it's like the only difference between 2 codes will be just the address.
Right.
Mm,
And that would be exactly the same thing. I'm not gonna say the last dog round you add, but I'm gonna talk about the next dog round. So like you would be able to know what would be the next monkey or dog round and be able to change your decisions again. So,
Wait, you can do that just from reading?
yeah.
What?
I think the
That's
next
crazy.
I think the
I had
next
no
special
idea.
round is determined on the current special round.
Yeah, I thought it was like that.
I mean, as soon as you get the basically as soon as you get the special round, then the next round is already
Determined.
calculated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I'm pretty sure I used the console command. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I used like a it was like a console command, and I was playing Doris randomly. It basically let me do the Shang Easter egg so I could go on nighttime. But I went on Doris and I still had this thing enabled. And when I finished the dog round, it actually told me what my next dog round was. So I was like, oh, it's determined on the actual dog round.
But I'm just gonna, you know, tell something that anyways won't like you can make any decision you want, like saying to the community, oh, it's not like you're just not supposed to use the reset tracker or the health bar or whatever it is. But there's like nothing that could like tell you that I'm not using it.
Right. There's always that too.
Because like, you know, for someone who is just like who doesn't know much about coding and stuff and just use magic Benny stuff that you know everybody actually agreed on, kinda. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use something that I don't know the code of, but
right.
Anyways. So yeah, that like there's nothing that could tell you that no one is using this, you know, to read is using an external program to read some addresses within the game. So yeah, you can tell anything you want, but I can still do my own shit and
right.
and program everything I want to fucking help me. even though I didn't do like I can tell it. Like the last games I played on Shang, I actually have this health bar thing. It's like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
And I actually played some game on Shang with it, but yeah, it does change stuff. But yeah, you know, I never played like any world record game with except maybe Reset Tracker. But if you don't consider accepting the health bar, then you're not accepting the Reset Tracker. Then
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's a fair argument.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with that. Like he's changed my mind.
I mean, it's not modifying anything.
It's
just reading.
yeah, all right.
Yeah,
you're
it's
not
just reading.
modifying anything by reading the next dog run. Then
Like
you're not supposed to know it.
Yeah, like I was against it, but after hearing that argument, like I'm kind of swaying for it, to be honest. Like,
right. It's like I
it may
don't.
help you, but
You got
as
nothing
you
here.
said, so
and
does Reset Tracker. Like,
and
they
seen.
go hand in hand, to be honest.
Yeah, they do.
As well.
Also, like to push the thing even further, I think like some of you know how our RNG works. It's basically just a, you know, a random number from what you call a seed.
Yep.
And let's say the seed never changes, then you can basically make sure that you always have the same outcome.
Yeah.
Is there a way to know the seed?
So where are we going with this? I'm getting excited.
Modded.
You
Waiting
can,
for RNG manip in Call of Duty.
basically, you can. I mean, like the random in video games is like most likely based on, I don't know, time or whatever it is.
Like, yeah, like your system time and your CPU
Yeah.
time.
So you can pretty much freeze the fucking intern system time, or you know, take an external program and just, you know, unrandomize the whole thing, and always have the same outcome of your box. So I'd say we find some, like, you know, like good seed that gives you all the time the good wonder weapon. Then you're not modifying the game, you're not modifying anything in the game, but you would still be able to get the wonder weapon all the time.
Oh yeah.
I don't feel like that's an issue in my opinion. It does take away from the game, but I don't think it's an issue.
Well,
in my
is there a
opinion.
seed even possible to give you like all one hits? Like, is that a thing? Would that be
Of course,
possible?
like, I mean, if at some time the seed was good enough to give you like the weapon you wanted to, then basically you're just like freezing this seed and you're good to go.
And
I'll
you don't have
figure
to
out how to keep that
So So are you proposing that every player in the community uses just one seed that gives them the same RNG? So like everyone's on the
No.
Okay, I thought that's what you're saying.
Like basically, like I don't even know how RNG works on BO1. Like maybe it just could be, you know, like a random based on a random based on a random or some shit.
Right. We don't know what
You-
exactly
you're
RNG means in Black Ops 1. And
Yeah,
what
and
feeds off of it.
anyways, I don't know if there's like any external program to like, you know, freeze the system clock of the
Imagine.
Windows. But yeah, like I'm just saying that all the time whenever like, you know, we want to do a random in video games, then it's pretty much based on time, on system time. That's like if you just type RNG manipulation on Pokemon, then you will be able to.
I've seen
find.
those.
Yeah, I've seen. Like sort of like Pokemon White 2 or something.
Yep.
So like, I'm just like, whenever people are just like, oh, it's just modifying the game, it's just like reading the value. I'm like, yeah. Anyways, you can do like a shit ton of things with all of that shit. So.
Right. There's like a million like different data points that you could read to be considered useful.
Yeah.
Well, wait. So you can read the next dog round? Did you say?
Yeah.
That would completely break the race.
No.
Like that basically completely destroys the race.
And also Ascension. A lot.
Oh yeah, Ascension.
A lot of
Me,
decisions would be.
Dog round.
Like, let's say, oh, I'm gonna miss the next Insta round. I'm gonna force. No, fuck off.
Or like Doris, just like, you know, let's say this matters like really early game, like mismaxes. Like mismaxes completely destroy your time. So if you know you're gonna get like a 5-rounder, you can basically just start trading at the end of a round.
Yeah. Also, it's the same thing for George on Call of the Dead, and
Yeah.
you will like
It saves
completely
so
change
much
your
time as
decisions.
well, holy shit.
Yeah, that would like completely destroy
That would
Doris
help.
at Ascension.
Yeah.
And you guys probably don't even know if I already done it.
Yeah, there's no way of knowing.
This
And
guy's gonna make people think.
anyone could do it, and you wouldn't even be able to say, "Hey, you modded your game." Hey, how would you know?
Yeah, you don't even know unless somebody like
Right.
specifically says that they did it.
Or there's just like something really evident about the game or something. I don't know.
Like
Oh,
somebody
just
talking
good
about it.
decision making.
Yeah, just good decision
Yeah.
making.
This guy's
Very
making too
fun.
many good decisions. Get him out.
Is there a way where you
Yeah.
can see it?
Ban his game.
10
And something I've seen too is like people would be like, well, if they're gonna submit a game, they should like upload their config too. And it's like, that's stupid because they could just throw in whatever config they want with their game. Like,
That's true.
there's no way to like
Unless
look
they like
at...
show it on stream while they're in the game.
Right. Well, I mean, even that could be
Yeah, you
technically
could fake
fabricated
that.
too.
Like you could get like a.
You could fake a
pre-recorded
lot of
of that.
things and get away with it. Yeah.
But
The only
I
way-
feel like if you really care to. But you know,
Right.
obviously
Who's gonna
there's
go
idiots
that
in the
hard?
community that have obviously modded and have not gotten away with it because they've just been really stupid. Someone could be really stupid with modding, and they
It's
could
so
have got
easy to
caught
mod
if this,
properly.
Win, by the way.
if somebody could have got caught if this thing was in place just by being an idiot, right? So it could get, you know, more modders off the leaderboards. But you know, if someone's like really good at doing it or just like has a brain while doing it, you know, they won't get caught. But the argument for adding that shit in, like adding that thing for, you know, as like a verification is so that, you know, there's you know, it's modding's obviously going to happen, but it's going to, you know, limit it to some extent.
I mean,
That's the argument.
it's also
fair.
the idea of we should be aware of these like ways to see that people are modding in game, like with the magic chest movable thing. Like when people,
Oh
like,
yeah, shit, yeah.
when people get a game, like you should just check their boxes and see how many hits per box they have, and they're getting like consistently low numbers at this spawn, but consistently high numbers at this spawn. Then you can start like bringing things.
But
into
you still can be really smart with it because you could
you
like,
still can.
which
but-
is pretty cancel.
Right.
Well, actually, it would be hard to determine because it's
Yeah,
not.
it would be.
It's actually calculated at at every single hit. It's not like, you know, the bug spawns in and then, you know, it's already determined that it's gonna move in 8 hits.
Yeah, like you can turn the magic chest movable. Like, let's say you hit the box 13 times, you can turn magic chest movable off, and then it will still move on the 14th hit, even though you basically had the magic chest movable on. Sorry, for the first 13 hits, it will. If you turn it off, and then hit the box again, it will move. So,
What do you mean? Like, there's actually nothing guaranteed that it's gonna move after 14 hits.
wait, isn't it like the max box can stay there for
No.
14 hits?
No, it's basically like I think it's like 8 or 10 hits, and then it's 50% chance per hit to move.
Oh.
Wait, so you can have a box for longer than 14?
Well, if you get really lucky, then yeah, but it's
Damn.
like
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's basically the same thing as asking someone to get jugged like 10
Oh, I
times in a
haven't
row.
felt
It's
that.
not gonna happen.
Damn. All right.
I mean, these
I'll
are
feel
these
this
are
one.
interesting like things that like we need to be like aware of, so we can better like think about how to combat these things. But then this is also assuming that everyone in the community is a dick and is gonna do it to begin with.
Also, something about Moon to not allow the patch is if you allowing the patch. I mean, if you allow like changing the file, the Moon file, then you also can change everything on Moon. Which
Because
basically
who knows what's getting changed in the patch is what you're
Big
saying.
mouse.
you can change box lock, you can change you can
What's in the
change
box?
you can change the delay between you know, each random drops in the biodome.
And the excavators.
You can change the
Mm.
excavators, you can change
Pretty
their
much
perk,
everything.
the perk, you know, the perks you're gonna get from the QEDs.
Yeah.
So
Changed so much.
yeah,
Let's play your 65 FOV and that's all, and not change anything.
Let's just boot the game and play it, damn it. Why are we talking about all these changes?
Yeah. No. Right.
Mm.
The fuck.
Actually,
Like,
it would be way easier and
Yeah,
there
it
would
would
be no
be.
problem, but
Now
fuck
we're
that, dude.
like starting to allow all these like quality of life changes and stuff. That's really
I got
making
to
things a hairy mess.
That zombies don't fall.
I mean, actually, if you ever started the multiplayer in BO1, there is an FOV slider, but it's just a fucking placebo actually. It's just the view model which changes.
Oh, that's
There-
stupid.
There's something which is called a fucking field of view that
Mhm.
changes the view model. Like, what the fuck?
Are you talking about FOV scale? Because that changes the actually. Yeah. Oh no. Never mind. That does change FOV and view model too.
Big.
I know there's a command where it changes just the view model.
Yeah, let me hold my gun like I'm holding it left-handed for some reason.
Yeah, you can basically change the gun position on your screen,
Yeah.
like
some people
gun
fucking
Yeah,
do
put
exposition, gun
it
right.
up to your ass. What?
What's that gun? Sorry, is that all?
How long have we even been going for? It's less than
I
an
don't know.
hour.
So
I've been
basically,
live for 2
basically
hours.
if you allow it on Moon, like then it's a like free, then
Free
it's
real
like
estate.
opening to the door to every single changes. If you're gonna allow it, then like how can you be sure that I'm not gonna change anything else?
Right.
Because basically I'd be fucking mad at the community for allowing that, and I would just like
Mm.
fucking like the
Same.
whole community. Then, oh, all right, you wanna change the patch? Then I'm gonna change the whole fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I totally could do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what's really interesting, right? Because you say this like you're modifying the game on BR1. Like if you do one change, you're basically opening up the possibilities. You know, I was thinking about this. You know, let's say in like like I always see BO2 players use this argument against redacted. It's like, oh, you know, you redacted players are modifying the script on redacted, you can basically change anything on redacted, right? That's the argument they use. What do you think about that?
They're right.
Yeah, they are.
They are. It's up to
I
the
mean,
integrity of the community
yeah, but like,
for not
what do you
modding
want?
on
What do you want
redacted.
us to do? Like, just like not play the game?
Yeah, that's what they want.
They
I
want to
mean,
keep their
we-
records.
I mean,
is
if
what they want.
I mean, it means that we wouldn't be able to play Buried, Mob of the Dead.
No more
Um,
idiot
For like
dances.
longer than a day.
I mean, basically like the two, like, you know, most played. I mean, the most played map. So,
Try hard.
oh shit.
That is pretty scuffed though. Like the BO2 console players are kind of right on that. You can change anything you want. You wouldn't even know about it.
But yeah, if you change like anything, then you also like, you know, I don't even think there's a single like still like real console player right now on
Console
BO1,
players are
but
dog
then
shit.
you're just like, you know, moving them out of the competition,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
which isn't the case with BO2 change.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other way, we're putting players into the BO2 community, which they should be grateful about. I mean, not trying to sound like pretentious, but I mean, like, they don't have like a very large community right now, and allowing PC to play with them would bring
Yeah,
that
well, it's
community
empty.
back up.
I'll be right back.
I guess it's my way of seeing it anyway.
Well, it's like 58 minutes in, roughly.
Why is this moon insta-kill strat so bad?
It
It's
says
it's
12 SPH if
So
the
trash.
spawn is gone. And
Oh wait, it's
supposedly
faster than the other one, but this is for because we were talking about this earlier. It's for the patch where if you you know, you could run, you know, this room, the BO3 strat on BO1 if you have a patch where it doesn't glitch the spawns. And this is a theoretical strat that would work if this patch was allowed. That's
we
basically
would
what
have a
it's
two
for.
spawn instead of a one spawn, so one spawn is banned. Because it's a one spawn in this room in all
Oh,
cases,
I'm back.
except when you go out to get ammo.
So, what does the patch like do to this room? It just makes
What
it
the
like
patch would do
BO3,
is it
right?
would make the roof spawner not glitch out,
So
And-
constantly spawn.
continually spawn zombies instead of just stop at one point.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
You didn't know this whole time. What?
No. I knew it was something to do with the spawn.
That's what I
with the
said.
down,
Once you
but-
read the basement.
I don't like reading things.
Yeah, I can tell.
I haven't even looked at it. So
Yo, Luda, what do you think about the health bar?
that health bar argument was
I
actually
Would
think
you-
it's legit.
interesting.
Yeah. I
You think it's legit?
Yeah.
I think it's legit now. I changed my mind. Yeah, I think it's legit. I think it's
You're
legit.
changing your fucking mind more than Wings. Like, what the fuck?
More than who? Sorry, we don't talk about that guy on this podcast.
No, but I think the argumentation that Phenix provided, because okay, so originally I was
Like,
like,
I could do another argumentation and literally change your mind as like
no,
one
no, no, no,
second.
no, but no, I was kind of split on it, right? Because it's like for the advantages of the health bar is that there's more skill provided. If you know your health, there's kind of more skill because you can just adapt to any situation because you already know what your health is. Whereas it's pretty, you have to generalize without the health bar. But
Yeah,
the thing
like
is,
not only that, like who fucking cares, right? Like everyone uses FOV, everyone modified the game in the first place. Who gives a
hell
shit?
yeah, get going on.
Who cares about BO1 anyway? Fuck you.
Like, anyways, you're just playing PC. Your backward speed is modified. Like, what the fuck, man?
Launching dead by the way. Function.
Yeah, like every single one is using a glitch to change his backward speed.
Yeah.
So you know what?
Plus,
is
like,
want to
like
not
people,
your
like people who are saying it's not a glitch, then fucking
It is a
open your
glitch, by
fucking eyes. Like,
By
they just
definition,
forgot
it's
to
a glitch.
change the backward speed when you start DOA. It's not.
Yeah, definition of a
fucking
glitch is
glitch.
like an oversight in the game code, and it's an oversight in the game code, so by definition, it's a glitch. can't change the fact that it's a glitch. Yeah.
Fact.
Like
Smart.
I heard adopted this fucking bad
Oh,
man.
Fucking
Bad as fuck, man. Oh shit.
Bald.
the guy's K-Kona, so the guy doesn't have like any. This guy's just an idiot.
But anyways, like these people, they're just fucking hypocritical on whether or not it's just fine for them. No, it's not fine for the community. It's fine for them.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What if Phenix has been modding this whole time?
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Like,
Well, modding, you know,
Yeah,
that
you
word
would.
is very loose.
Like you wouldn't know.
Yeah, you would.
Where's
it's
the
kind of
game came
scary
out?
that you can like mod
I'm
so
not sure
easily.
mine does. Fuck you.
Damn, we need like a hand cam. We need,
Hand
we need
Approach cam,
display capture, both
face
monitors.
cam,
Yeah, we need
game
everything.
capture, monitor capture, PC
Like
cap.
basically, if you wanted
Dog
to,
and pick
up my
if you
dick.
wanted to rule out this health bar, you basically
I'm
need a
afraid to-
display capture, right? Because there's no way of anyone knowing if you're using the health bar.
Not true.
Yeah, basically, if you have multiple monitor, then you can also use it on the other monitor and the one.
Hell yeah, baby.
Like, of course, it's gonna display, but you can like there's something in Windows that you can do, like to display only some tabs in
Yeah.
some monitor. So yeah, fuck that.
Oh,
Sounds like you've
yeah.
experience with this. Modding.
What?
Sounds like you have some experience in
What you mean? I mean, that's
hiding
just general
tabs.
Windows things.
No,
and-
because like actually like I have my lead programmer at Ubisoft who actually has these multiple monitors and different tabs on that.
Yeah.
So
I have it set up similar on my computer. If it's only open on a certain monitor, then display it like the taskbar menu button there.
Playing zombies better.
There's 6 people on the podcast. Shit. It's gonna be difficult to
Yeah,
fit 6
Phoenix
people on the
dudes,
screen.
So if we're allowing reset trackers and health bars, what's stopping somebody from doing dog rounds? And
Yeah, we should read dog rounds.
would that
I
be
could-
legit? Would
I
you
could
think?
I could display also the points needed for next drop.
Oh shit! Oh yeah.
I mean, that increases exponentially though. So there's a point where you like the point
Yeah,
requirement
but
for the
for,
next
like,
drop
early
is so much
rounds?
it's useless. Well, yeah, for early rounds,
Yeah,
sure.
would
anyways,
change
like
the gameplay.
it's like anyways it's 2000 times 114 per 1.14 per drop. So anyways, at
Yes.
like the 10th drops or some shit, and
It gets already stupid ridiculous.
yeah,
you never
it's,
seen it.
like
Oh, so
all
it's
of
something
your
good.
drops are already based on
There's 2 ways to get drops. It's that exponential curve which guarantees drops, and then it's always a random 3% chance.
2
Yeah,
actually.
I thought it was 2.
Oh, it's
yeah.
2? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
my bad. I thought it was 3.
Yoink.
Yoink, mine now.
Yoink the 1%.
Yoink,
no,
my luck.
that basically affects early round speedruns. Like if you want to play fast, you know when you're gonna
So
get the
whatever
drops.
on
and stuff.
there is easy as fuck. GG.
No, but you could like keep a zombie behind the window. Like, let's say you got like a nuke at the end of the cycle. You could intentionally keep a zombie behind the window if you're gonna get a guaranteed drop, and then get the drop. When you actually need it. It's pretty
Right.
OP
Pretty
for
scuff.
speedruns anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas now it's basically completely random.
Experience try.
But the thing is, right, like with this points thing, it's like if you do the maths in your head, like you would know when you're gonna get the next drop vaguely, right? So would you be opposed to making this legit? Would you be opposed to making it legit?
Putain.
Is
Would
it
you
lagging
consider
for
it
me?
legit if somebody used it? Or would you be like, no, that's modding?
Who fucking cares? You can't even be sure if you're using it or not.
Let's say if you know somebody's using it.
Well, is it reading or are you changing something?
It's just reading. It's just
Well,
reading.
yeah, yeah.
Because like
mean-
you guys didn't know I had the health bar thing for 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I gave
you
it to
wouldn't know.
Slayer. I gave it to Slayer and Luda before.
Yeah, so would it just be all? So you basically would have to be like, it's all legit or it's not legit, and you still wouldn't even know if people are playing legit or not legit. I'd
Yeah, you
say,
Like right now, you're just talking in the void.
yeah. I
sorry.
feel
Talking
like
to
you
Gersh.
might as well make it legit, because even if you like, let's say if you make it not legit, people will use it. Like if
Yeah,
people
you
have
don't know.
access to it, people will use, some people might use it, and then you'll be playing at a disadvantage, right? So
Stop modding, Phenix, man. Shut up.
stuff fucking money. Oh yeah, baby.
Oh, baby.
Hmm.
Think me.
Halo 5.
Health
Okay,
bar,
then.
PogChamp.
So,
So
PogChamp. So when are you gonna release it to the public?
Programs that read
Right now.
stuff in the game. Do you think overall they should be legit or not?
What?
Yeah.
What?
You think stuff like reset tracker and the health bar, in the grand scheme of things, should be allowed or not?
Yes.
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 It's already been accepted by the community anyways.
I mean, if
Okay.
we accept it,
Every single one used reset tracker on the stream. And basically if you don't allow it, then you don't also allow my timer, which tracks the time in game.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't allow Magic's Penny one as well.
Tim is modding.
because like if you don't allow it, then all of the tools that Magic Penny did, which is like changing the values and everything of FOV and stuff.
Gets breaking.
And also for the I think it's TIM, which is used for Twitch chats integration or some shit.
Yeah.
Then you're not allowing either, so
Yeah.
it's already been accepted by the community, and there's nothing you can do about that.
You need to release some of these mod tools, dude. I get my hands on this. After Phoenix finishes with this fucking conversation, niggas are gonna have
Whoa.
overlays
Whoa.
looking like the inside of an Iron Man's helmet. What the fuck? I said it with an A, don't worry, boys.
I like you are black too, so it's not really racist.
I don't think Twitch really cares about that, but yeah.
Well,
overlays are gonna be looking pretty crazy. You're gonna see like next points, points for next drop. You're gonna see like fucking health
zombies
bar.
left in the round. I'd love to have that.
Can you read that too? Can you not allow, but can you read the amount of zombies left in a row?
Yeah, I'd really like to have that, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Zombie tracker, fucking hell.
Zombie trackers would be so nice on like Call of the Dead, because you'll just be playing, you'll be like, holy shit, like I'm this far into getting cancer, like.
On Doris, it would be like be so good for trade strats, like
It'd be so
okay,
nice to
I'm
know if it's worth
definitely
trading or not.
exactly, and that's the same
Especially
thing
if
for
you
the
have a
next
dog
dog round.
tracker, like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
guaranteed dogs next round. Let me just pull out the zombie counter and see
That
if it's
shit
worth
would
trading
be
or not.
so OP for reason, not even lying, like yeah.
Pretty much every map where you're trading and you have a dog round.
So Ascension Doris, yeah.
Ascension Breach, yeah.
Fucking
You know if you
broken
wanna
as
be a
fuck.
PogChamp.
Busted as fuck.
Just wanted to add that most of the community is just talking about things which are just out of hands right now. So,
Yeah.
like before you actually talk about, subjects and topics and everything, just make sure you know the game 100% before, like, you talk.
Yeah, most
Right.
people like on your tweet, because I'm not saying it's completely their fault, because the tweet was pretty like vague. It was just like health tracker. They didn't know like the insides and outsides of the actual health. People like I saw like HGMRig saying, oh, it's not allowed, and yeah, obviously he did give decent reasoning to why it shouldn't be allowed. But he didn't know like the actual logistics behind it. Is like you're not modifying any game code to allow this. I don't think that was in the tweet. Maybe it was, but they didn't know like the full what'd you call it, like the actual like everything about the health bar. And also there's never really been a discussion about it, so people, because I mean I'm guilty of this too, like people will be like, oh, this shouldn't be legit because blah blah blah, but when there's an actual discussion about it, you kind of more points are being raised up about like you know, you bring up some very good points about this health bar that, you know, anyone can use it. You wouldn't even know. I mean, that's pretty huge. And also, you know, it does kind of decrease, you know, randomness in terms of like, oh, I died here, but like I didn't even know I should have died here, and there's probably no way of me knowing I should have died here. So it basically didn't allow me to use my skill to adapt to the situation, right? So you brought up some really good points, and you actually swayed me. So yeah, I think there should definitely be discussions about shit like reset bars, health bars, and shit like that before people start like making their own opinion. Because that's like the problem with the BO1 community. People are just jumping on this health bar without knowing like everything about it.
And also, people are blindly allowing certain things without thinking about what could evolve from that. Like with the reset tracker, I didn't think
with the reset tracker,
be tracking other stuff like the health bar, next dogs, box hits, stuff like that.
She's got a fucking revive icon. Oh shit, dude. Hold on, let me put it in my. I'm playing with this. Hell yeah, baby, run. Oh shit, wait, how? So, it says I have 0 health. Hold on. Oh, it shows on my screen too. But, alright.
Yeah, it should stay on. It should stay on your screen.
Do I have to like launch it at the beginning of the game? Because it's just stuck at 0 even when I get hit and shit.
What?
It works
Yeah,
for me.
it's just stuck at 0.
Restart it maybe.
I'm in a game, so I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, GG, bro.
Okay, never mind. I have 100 health in the Black Ops main menu.
Yeah, and actually, when you go, I mean, when you die, the health like goes from, let's say you were at 40, then you die, and it's just gonna go back to 100.
Oh, I know why it's not working, because I'm playing on I'm playing from a different directory, because I'm basically doing practice games. Because honestly, like I'm just modding the baby gun, because you know, I've only got a PB of 107. I have no chance of getting the world record, so I just mod the games to get better at the map, and then I'll play like a legit game when I'm actually like confident of actually
No, I
getting the
think
world
that's
record.
definitely a great way to approach learning
Honestly,
maps.
Shang, because I'm restarting for baby gun first box, and it's like not even, it's not gonna, I'm not gonna see the advantage because I'm obviously not playing to reset, so there's like no point of me, you know, playing like that, because it's just a waste of my time.
Can you make this you know, this timer look nicer? Not timer, the health tracker. Because it's really pissed me off. Like, getting
Oh yeah, add more customizability to it, because it's just like a fucking number at a bar.
like,
I mean, if you care to.
Can you just make it like have no background or something? Or like, you know, it flashes fucking red if you're about to get slapped off or something.
Well, I mean, just give me a list of features and I will do it. Like, I'm just too fucking lazy to think about the design of a fucking bar.
Oh, okay. The color, the background of it.
Like, basically, you're talking to a programmer. Like, if you ask me to draw a triangle, I'm gonna draw a triangle. But if you don't ask me to, then I will draw like a fucking circle.
Yeah.
There's a difference
I'll
between the
PM you,
programmers and the design team.
Change, yeah, like the color and the
background, color, and then allow us to modify the size of text and the font maybe.
You're already allowing it then. If you're asking me all that shit.
We said the principle of it is it reads, like, you know, like, I think that's okay. I accepted the fucking reset tracker. It's just the same thing, so.
Well, I mean, yeah, we kind of are accepting it without like the whole community, but yeah, it is the same thing. You'd have to get like.
Way, like, I'm still gonna use it, like.
There's no way.
I'm sorry, but like, no one's gonna know if it's not accepted, like.
That's pretty stinky. Yeah. Oh my god, dude, it's so fucking
like,
broken.
You probably do it too, Flurh.
Oh no, I wouldn't do it.
Nah, yeah, you would. Yeah, you
no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
No, I wouldn't. Dude, I could basically play Shang and like, you know, because I'm obviously using this baby gun thing. I could tell like nobody about it, and no one would probably question it. Like.
Oh yeah, can you send that as well?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no one questioned it. Exactly. You know what I mean?
I'll send you my my ascension patch. It's beautiful. It makes it so the zombies don't fall down when you shoot them if they're at a distance.
No, that's a patch, those stinky cheese. Is there anything anyone else wants to add, or is this like a
How
discussion?
far are we? Like an hour and 15.
Yeah, you can go back to playing Black Ops with the
Nice.
health bar. See you.
I see you. All right. Yeah, you want to do it? Tom, want to do an outro? Do we even do outros or what?
Thanks for listening to the 97% Optimized podcast episode 5. Yeah. We had a good discussion, even though I said about 6 words in the whole thing. But hey,
Yeah, pretty good discussion.
It was good listen anyway. But yeah.